ToonGrin.com.
Destination, McDuck Manor.
McDuck Manor? As in Scrooge McDuck? The bajillionaire?
You're finally gonna sell us.
Do it, make Scrooge McDuck.
Are you really our uncle? How old are you?
You used to be a big deal. Whatever happened to you?
Used to be a big deal.
Hello and welcome to Watchin' Stuff, the show about watching stuff. I'm Nero, with me is my Canadian counterpart WHYBOY, and I'm in intense pain because I got my wisdom tooth growing in, and it's coming in at an angle, and it's basically like Shoryuken my other tooth really, really hard. It's so bad that quite honestly, I've been in an intense amount of pain for the last few days. Luckily, I do have a dentist appointment. Hopefully, they could cut in there and rip that stuff out and be done with that nonsense. But today we're looking for something that vaguely brightened my mood, which takes a lot of effort.
Indeed.
Today we're taking a look at the premiere of DuckTales. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Nero and WHYBOY, DuckTales has been around for quite a while. I know Sylvester Stallone would be watching our podcast.
Hey, he would like our stuff, damn it.
That's fair enough. He probably would. I mean, except for the parts where we're like, you're kind of lame in Ratchet and Clank.
he kind of was. Sorry, Sylvester. You're cool other places. That was a throwaway role on your part.
So we decided, what with Disney constantly rehashing and being very lazy, they decided that they wanted to rehash and be lazy on one of their animated properties as opposed to their live, their animated movies turning into quote-unquote live action movies, which, by the way, I'm just throwing this out there, it doesn't work for, Lion King, because it's not live action. It's just animated again. It's just animated in a different version.
Yeah, so all we can hope from that is just that they take the movie into a slightly new direction.
I don't care. We got James Earl Jones back as Mufasa. I don't care. I got him as Darth Vader. That's what I needed. I don't care.
Why do we keep killing James Earl Jones? Why?
I don't know. He's got things to do. So, we're going to take a look at DuckTales, the 2017 reboot. Now, for those of you who don't know about DuckTales, which is really weird, DuckTales is the story about Scrooge McDuck, the world's richest duck. He lives in Duckburg, and he has to watch over his 3 grandnephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I can never tell them apart, nor do I care to. They are also the nephews of Donald Duck, who is Scrooge's biological nephew.
Yeah.
So, in the original, the whole thing was Donald had to go back into the Navy to go serve his term of tour, and so he left them with Scrooge McDuck to raise. In this version, they changed it up a bit. It turns out that Donald is basically a single parent, and he watches over the triplets.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. It's basically taking a lot from the original comic series based on DuckTales, where Donald was the single parent of the 3 nephews. And we have Scrooge McDuck, the richest duck in the world, where in the 90s version, he was just sort of like the every family man, bringing his family on an adventure. Here he's just he really is more the miser of the group, who's just hungers for adventure.
I kind of like that, though, because in terms of narrative, you'll probably get more development on a character level with him starting as a miser and then moving to realizing the importance of family and, growing to really love them and care for them, as opposed to the original, which by no means is a bad show whatsoever. But obviously, if you watch the original, it was very, simple in its way of doing it in terms of, storytelling. It's yeah, he just loves them already. First episode, it's yeah, there's a mild, common misunderstanding, but we love each other.
I just hate them for being young, but they were just like me when I was young, so let's go on an adventure for gold.
It happens.
Yeah, it just happens.
It just happens.
For me, the original DuckTales was a really fun series for me. I went back on it when I saw the Nostalgia Critics review of the first few episodes. It is just such a fun, childish series that really just hits you right in where you like the adventure and such. Mm-hmm, but now we got the 2017 series, which is supposed to be revitalizing that in a new frame of lens. Like, it's not just a remake of everything, it's really a reboot in a new way. As it's following more of the comic format and such, right down to the animation style of everything.
They did say in an interview I saw, this show is looking to combine DuckTales, the original show, DuckTales the comics, the Scrooge McDuck comics, and the DuckTales video game all into one thing. So basically, I don't know if you've ever heard of this show, but there was a show a couple years back. It was called Transformers Animated.
Yes, I did watch a few episodes of that, yeah.
It was basically, if you watched the whole show and you were a fan of Transformers growing up, as I was, as my friend Miguel was, as my friend Duke was, when you watch it, the whole show is actually just a love letter to the franchise of Transformers. They have characters from the movies, they have characters from the video games, they have characters from the toy line that you've never heard of, they have characters from like G1. It's all about, let's celebrate what we love in an animated property, and that's what this show is doing. I do like right out of the gate, by the way, this show has already been approved for 2 seasons, so I'm glad, because that means we don't have to worry like in the back of our heads where it's like,
Disney, don't you on this.
Well, I always felt that with, like, do you remember when Gravity Falls was coming out?
Yeah.
And, like, for Disney, it felt like they couldn't keep a show on the air.
Yeah.
So, like, after season 1, it was like, are they going to come back for season 2?
Yeah.
Oh, God, if we had season 2, are they going to screw us out of a season 3?
Yeah, then it just went on and on, waiting until, like, season 2, yay!
Which also, like, took forever to get on the air, though, because, like, they were dragging it out. I don't know if that's because, like, Disney was upset that, what was his name? Alex Hirsch, put the kibosh on it where it's like, I told the story I wanted. 2 seasons, that's all I needed. I don't need to go any further. So, like, Disney's always kind of shooken me. Like, I've been feeling that with, like, Star Versus, too, where it's like, Star Versus gets better as a season progresses, and then once you hit that finale, you have to ask yourself, like, oh, God, is it gonna get canceled? Is it gonna come back? Are they gonna even, like, conclude the story? Because, like, Disney's kind of really bad at this. I mean, like, it dates back to, like, Gargoyles being on the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've been wanting to have a reboot of Gargoyles coming out. And with sort of DuckTales coming out, we do have that sort of promising future where more Disney shows can be rebooted.
It would be kind of cool if, like, the Gargoyles cast could maybe cameo in DuckTales, because what with everybody having this really strange addiction to shared universes for their material, you could dare argue maybe, well, no, because the Gargoyles have to exist with humans, and I guess humans don't exist in...
Yeah, they're just anthropomorphic ducks here, and also just sort of like stupid
they're
animals.
Dogs and stuff.
Well, there are just stupid animals as well, because you got seagulls just as their animal forms next to ducks in their anthropomorphic form.
Oh yeah, it's like when you watch Gargoyles and like Bronx is their pet, and it just makes you think, it's like, so I keep like a mentally challenged person as a pet? Like, what the am I supposed to think about? It's like the Pluto, like, Goofy thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, it sits in the back of your head, and it's like, you're not supposed to think about it, but then it just sits there, and you're just like, wait a minute.
Is he mentally challenged?
Yeah, is he special needs dog? What the hell? That's messed up. And it's like, yeah, you're not supposed to think about it, but you just kind of do, because it's like, yeah, but this dog over here can, like, drive a car.
Yeah.
So with the show, the way they handled it is, it's a lot like the original premise for the most part. It really hasn't changed that much. The idea is that Donald Duck, who is now a single father, he's now played by Tony Anselmo, who I did find that if you watch this 2-part pilot, a little difficult to understand.
Yeah, I was having trouble at times understanding him in a sense. Like, I know,
which is weird. I've never had problems with Donald in the past.
Yeah, is he the same one that does in those like short Mickey Mouse shorts that we've been watching a lot? Like, yeah, that's odd, because I can understand him in those shorts, but here he was just sort of like speaking a little bit too fast, that sometimes his words got a little bit muddled.
I think he was also Donald Duck in the Three Musketeers movie we watched.
Yeah.
And like Mickey makes a joke about like not being able to understand Donald, and I mean, I understood him fine in there, so... And here it was weird, because it's like, I normally understand Donald Duck. I've never actually had a problem with his, like, accent. But watching this was like, there were some parts where it felt like it was kind of hard to understand him.
Yeah.
So the idea for this premise is that Donald, who lives on a houseboat, has the 3 nephews, And we still haven't been getting set up why he has the 3 nephews. There's a really cool mystery element to this.
Yeah, but we'll handle that more at the end. Well, basically, he has the 3 nephews, and he's going off to a job interview. But basically, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are just little troublemakers who are basically going to burn down his boat if they're left by themselves. So, and they already ditched their babysitter in the middle of nowhere. So he has to drop them off to Scrooge McDuck, who Donald just hates for some reason.
And that's the second mystery. We don't know what falling out Uncle Scrooge had with his nephew Donald Duck, and that's kind of interesting because now it's making us think like, well, what's going on there? I mean, like it looks like we're gonna actually have a lot more mystery angles. So like they learned from doing Gravity Falls. You could do a kid's show, but have it be a little bit more intelligent. It's not like that. Was it the pickle and the peanut? I think was some stupid shit they had.
No, oh god, that piece of crap, ugly crap. Who would put that on air?
Here's the thing. I expect it from Cartoon Network, and I certainly expect it from Nickelodeon. But Disney?
Was that a Disney show? I didn't even know that it was on Disney. I just saw an episode of it on Kiss Cartoon one time. It's just like, oh my god.
I could have swore it was Disney because I remember Nickelodeon had Breadwinners, where the first story was about how like that one duck wanted to use love bread to make another duck fall in love with it. So basically, it was a date rape where he wanted to slip a duck a Mickey. So he can get her. Don't you love that's the first episode, by the way? And like no one on Nickelodeon was like, well, this is a bad idea.
Oh my god, that's freaking terrible.
Yeah, right out of the gate. Like, best foot forward.
But no date rape bread here. We had the nephews dropped off at Uncle Scrooge, and Uncle Scrooge is his old miser self, locking the kids away to play with some marbles and such.
I like the fact that he's really old and retired. Like, he's kind of retired from the adventuring gig, and because of it, he's just sort of bored. Like, yeah, he's still, the richest duck of the riches, but, like, he's just, like, bored with the mundanity of it. Like, he's bored with running a business. He's bored with going to boardroom meetings and dealing with stuff, which, by the way, I love that his like, fellow, like, members of the board are all a bunch of, like, stingy vultures.
Yeah.
If you listen in that first episode, they say, like, oh, we're shutting down, like, advancements in technology. Like, they were shutting down, like, wings that were, like, genuinely good for society to save money. And that's kind of a brilliant commentary on corporation. Because corporations, like, oh, well, we could do these great things but it costs money to do. Yeah, but if we're not going to make, like, all the money on it, we might as well just shut it down.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's a betterment to mankind kind of angle going. Well, yeah, but, if we can't make all the money, why should we care? Well, stop being selfish for about 5 seconds, and that's why you should do it.
Yeah, exactly. But more onto, like, a Scrooge angle and his characterization. Yeah, this does add a lot more to Scrooge, and a lot more that you can like play around with later in the series, as he was just sort of that bored old rich guy before, but now being revitalized by Huey, Dewey, and Louie, making all sorts of trouble. He wants to do adventuring again, and he brings the boys along to basically have that big adventure into Atlantis.
God, I just remember that SpongeBob did a terrible Atlantis story. And the worst part was, David Bowie was in that. And what a waste.
Oh, I think I remember that one. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of another thing where it's just like a surfing one, which was really weird.
Oh, that had Johnny Depp.
Yeah, that's no guess.
Also, the most expensive paid actor in the world, wasted.
Oh, that was a weird character in that one.
I do like this approach to Scrooge McDuck. I like the miser angle. I like that he doesn't like family, but I feel like there's a good underlining mystery there. We'll touch on it a bit more at the end because there's like a really good like plug at the end the way they do this. But it seems like the name of the theme for this project is going to be family and friendship. So, like when the triplets come, Scrooge wants nothing to do with them. Of course, Mrs. Beakley agrees to watch over them, and so they just lock them in a like decrepit room of the McDuck mansion, and then for some reason give them a bag of marbles, which is probably just because it's a nod to the original.
Yeah.
because they used to use marbles for a bunch of stuff. You remember when we watched the animated movie with the magic lamp?
Yeah, right, I remember that. And they used marbles to hit it around to save the day.
Yeah, so, like, that's probably what that's a reference to. It's like, yeah, but kids don't play with marbles anymore, you know, it's 2017. Kids play with, like, iPads.
To see them just not get an iPad like that.
That would have been funny, actually, given how rich he is. He just gives them an iPad and that's it.
Yeah.
And then they, like, smack... Like, was it they had to get out of the room, so, Blue one was,
that would
like...
be Huey. Dewey. That's it.
Okay. Like, Dewey's, like, whacking at the doorknob with a bag of marbles, and then the doorknob just breaks and falls off, and it's like, oh, that worked. They used marbles to get out of the room.
Yeah. Yeah, you would...
And then they meet, what's her name? Webigail?
That is Webby, yep. But her full name is Webigail. The new
Webigail
Webigail.
Vanderqueck. Yeah, Mabel.
Yeah. Because basically in the old 90s show, how is the best way to describe Webby? The girl one. Simply put, just the pink girl one.
She's there because obviously some suit was concerned that, well, if we make the show, you know, we have the 3 nephews, those are males, you know, how are we supposed to get, like, a female audience to enjoy this? Well, I mean, you know, women can enjoy male characters. There's, like, nothing whatsoever saying a female audience member can't enjoy a male character, or vice versa for that matter.
Here, are you crazy? We need a little girl character to be oh so cute and everything to get all the little girls on our sides. That's where the money is.
Yeah, that's clearly where the money is, and that to this day, honestly, it still feels like that's the thought process.
Yeah.
Sometimes for these properties.
Yeah, really. I do like how Webigail in this one is definitely taking the Mabel route, which is a much more versatile female character than just the I'm the cute little girl who likes cute things.
I just hope that the way they end up going, they don't trade out the girly girl stereotype for a tomboy stereotype. I hope that she can still like the cute stuff or the pretty stuff, and at the same time, still love hardcore adventuring and whatnot.
What I'm sort of seeing from Webigail so far, as in the second half of the series, like, she's sort of just been locked away, in a sense, like, from the world. Like, not having hamburgers, not going on adventures, and not really having friends until the three Huey, Dewey, and Louie come along. Which I think will add a lot more to her character and how she can react to the world. As she is sort of crazy.
I think one of the things we should bring up is, what about the voice cast right now? Obviously, David Tennant, Scrooge McDuck, that's the biggest one. He's replacing the original actor who, oh god, his name escapes me right now, which I need to look up, because he passed away, the original guy that was playing Scrooge. I have to look him up. Give me a brief moment here. No.
Yeah,
Alan Young. Yeah, Alan Young passed away last year.
Yeah, that's too bad.
And he had been playing Scrooge since the 70s. So he was the definitive voice of Scrooge for a very long time. There were only a few ups and downs where they would have a different actor voice Scrooge for, like, small things. Like when they did Duck the Halls, which was a Mickey Mouse Christmas special. If you guys know about the new Mickey Mouse cartoon out right now, which, by the way, we both highly recommend because it is hilarious.
Yeah, they're all really good. All have such creativity to them that I really like myself. And just Duck the Halls is one of our favorites.
And he, by that point that came out, he had unfortunately passed away. You know what? I want to say it was cancer too, because like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It's cancer. I think he might have just been old, though. I mean...
let's not just make guesses right here if we don't really know. We want to be respectful because the guy was really...
He died at 96 of natural causes. Okay, that's huge bucket of win. 96?
Yeah, that's a full life.
You know, that was a huge bucket of win. He's you know, he had a very good run, quite honestly. You know, 90s, like, we should all be so lucky. He was also, by the way, a fellow Canuck.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see if I have my... Canada glasses. Canuck.
Yeah. So, like, he had passed away in 2016, so the last time we actually saw Scrooge in something was John Cassar, the voice of Crypty the Crypt Keeper, if you know what Tales from the Crypt is. He voiced Scrooge for the Duck the Hall special.
Oh, cool. And so they moved on to David Tennant for this one.
Which makes sense, because at the time he had filmed Jessica Jones, where, hilariously, he played a vicious serial killer and rapist. So it's really funny. It's like, wow, he played such like an evil, malicious character last time. And I guess he made friends with people at Disney who were just really charmed by how nice he is. Because if you see like behind the scenes stuff, he's uber friendly.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're Scottish. Scrooge is Scottish.
Perfect.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, and I do like his voice in this. He definitely just fits right into the shoes of Scrooge McDuck, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, to me, it's not a matter of like, oh, he's replacing Alan Young.
Yeah, no.
I've gotten to a point, and this is especially when I got older, I am sick of people saying like, and this is especially because it's so perfect for like people who voice Batman or people who voice the Joker. People seem to hate it when a new actor comes along to perform as Joker or Batman. And a lot of, like, the vocal majority I always hear is like, oh, it's Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter who else they get. To me, that's very unfair to a performer. You have to let a performer stand on their own and give them... You don't have to give them respect directly where it's like, oh, I respect them for doing it. But you have to give them a chance to at least try and do something with the character.
Yeah, definitely. And just in this case with David Tennant, we gave him a chance, and he really just pulled through.
I enjoy him as Scrooge McDuck. It's fun because he's using his actual Scottish accent. And for me, David Tennant as a performer, most of the time they have him put on an English accent.
Yeah. Definitely
so it's really fun.
Natural here, which helps a lot with the joke and pacing and such.
Yeah. But I enjoy him as Scrooge McDuck, and I'm looking forward to see his character develop and change. There's also... we have Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Huey, red one is Danny Pudi. Ben Schwartz is the blue one, Dewey, and Bobby Monahan is Louie. I do know some of these actors from other properties, but they're not very big on my radar. And honestly, I remember when we saw the teaser, I'd said like, oh, it sounds like adults playing kids. It's kind of like when Dipper showed up in Gravity Falls. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I was saying that in the teasers, but when I was just watching the show, I think my brain already just sort of accepted, just like, okay, those are the voices of the kids. That's completely fine to me now. And I was completely okay with them.
Like, it isn't really... It really isn't off-putting or anything. Mm-hmm. It works. Like, they all give good performances. They're not very well-rounded in the pilot. It's the first 2 episodes, so obviously we're just establishing stuff. We know that Huey is the more methodical of the group. He obviously, like, he does, like, charts, and he's kind of nerd-esque.
Yeah, he's just basically sort of the junior woodchuck, like, supreme of the group. Like, with the little woodchuck hat and all that, just being super prepared and chipper. Then we have Dewey, who is just the would-be, wannabe adventurer of the duo, always just being gung-ho and such. And then we have Louie, the cool dude of the group. which I think will lead to a lot of comedy bits, but just right away also has the danger of just being like the, what was it, Quack Pack, that was it, where Huey, Dewey, and Louie were all just the cool bros.
Yeah, well, they're all like, it was the 90s, so of course they were all like jocks.
Yeah, just wimpy jocks.
That was like the first time. It was like the first time they tried to change the voices to make them distinct, and like nobody liked Quack Pack. I mean, I enjoyed Quack Pack personally. I never had a problem with it, but like people hated Quack Pack.
Yeah, and if they tried to just differentiate them, it didn't succeed because they're all the same character.
Yeah, I like I like this new DuckTales approach where it's like, each design is slightly different. Each one wears clothing in a different way. Like, Huey's a red t-shirt and baseball cap. Dewey is a short-sleeved blue shirt over a long-sleeved blue shirt. And then Louie is a green hoodie.
Yeah, it actually visually differentiates them. And they actually have characteristics that basically kind of differentiate them into bigger extremes. To, tell them apart.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, they're still kind of raw, but that's fine. It's the pilot. We have room now to see where this goes.
Yeah, exactly. And then who else do we have?
Webbigail.
Yeah,
so.
We already talked about Webbigail.
She's Mabel Pines.
Yeah, and she's good. We both really like her.
Oh, like by no means is that like an insult where it's like, I say she's Mabel Pines, and it's like, oh, so she's like garbage. No, I mean, I loved Mabel. I mean, yeah, even though Mabel sometimes became a pain in the ass, I loved Mabel as a character, and obviously Webby is pulling a bit from that character, which honestly, still more of a character in the long run than the original show, where it was like, she's there because she's cute.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's... and she even talked like she was like, you know, Uncle Scrooge, and like, you know, they gave her like a cute lisp and everything. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I hated that so much.
It's almost manipulative.
I'm so cute. Please buy my merchandise.
Where the real money is made. She's voiced by Kate McCucci, the voice of Velma from Scooby-Doo, and honestly, she is so much better here than she is as Velma Dinkley.
Yeah, I
don't know why.
agree. There's definitely more
can't
character of Webbigail here than there was in Velma that we just watched.
Yeah. I guess we should also give credit to, oh god, I'm gonna butcher her name beyond compare. Tokes Olagunundoy. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. I apologize, Tokes. My bad. But she plays Mrs. Beakley.
Yeah, and you were very much looking forward to Mrs. Beakley, am I correct?
Yeah, I actually thought they were going to make her silent. I thought that they were going to just make her like this big, like, quiet brute kind of character that, like, protects Scrooge. And, no, she's British.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a British accent I'm hearing.
Yeah, she didn't really talk too much, so I didn't really pick it up myself, but she's definitely sort of that almost the nanny brutish character. Like
the actress who plays her is Nigerian.
Oh, so that's that sort of accent.
That's why I had trouble with the name. Her full name is Olatokunbo Susan Olosumbunmai Abeki Tokes Algundoy. Jesus, Flaw. Why couldn't we just call her Susan?
Because that ain't her name.
It's one of her names.
NERO.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, the one I'm easier, like, fine, I'll call her Tokes. Kudos, whatever. But yeah, she's actually also a writer and producer.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool. Like, she's double dipping, because you probably actually, you've even said to me, where it's like, you know, you probably make more money as a producer on a show than you would as, like,
yeah,
a voice actor on the show.
It's sort of why I'm more interested in becoming a producer than most anything else myself, because I do like that sort of producer position. But we're not talking about, like, producer stuff. The character Miss Beakley wasn't fully utilized in this, basically just sort of like setting up what Webbigail's character was. Just sort of the crazy shut-in.
What is she, her granny?
Yeah, she's Webbigail's granny.
Okay, and that's it. I mean, nothing is really too established. She's, they basically, they got rid of, is it Ducksworth was the dog from the original?
Yeah, Ducksworth or Bogsworth, or it's a worse.
Okay, so they got rid of the dog butler, and basically Mrs. Beakley double dips for responsibilities. And honestly, yeah, you should do that. There's no reason to have both characters when one will suffice.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I do like that sort of like the butchness that this Beakley has. Like, definitely she has a much more appealing design than just the old design where it's just sort of like a bunch of like round pillows on a duck.
Yeah, I like the broad shoulders and the narrow waistline. I think they say she might be like a former Olympian.
I can see that.
And that's why she's very like she's built like an Amazon, because she used to like compete. And it's like, oh, that's a cool character thing too, because it's acknowledging a different body type.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, originally, she was just the old broad. That's it. She was, like, the old duck, and that was it. This one, the idea of acknowledging her as, like, a former, like, athlete and everything, that, like, it's small, but that still gives a bit more character than what we had before, and I like that. The other character, of course, is Launchpad McQuack, played by Beck Bennett. Top-notch all around. It's, like, for a lot of people, Launchpad is a very big linchpin.
Yeah.
Character for, like, because, you know, he was the bridge between DuckTales and Darkwing Duck.
That is funny, because like with this show coming out, like I'm now mixing up the name. Darkwing Duck is supposed to be coming back as well, which will be very interesting.
I really hope Jim Cummings will provide the voice for him when he shows up.
Yeah, and Launchpad has...
I don't want them to get a celebrity.
And Launchpad himself has just become really unscathed from the 90s. It just so feels like he just took the 90s Launchpad and just placed him in this one. He hasn't really changed personality-wise, and that's completely fine.
The only thing they did is they gave him multiple jobs now.
Yeah.
He's like a savant of, like, driving. He could drive a submarine, he could fly a plane, he could drive a car. Mind you, he can pretty much crash all of them, too.
Yeah. Which definitely helps to sort of streamline everything, just like how Miss Beakley just took over Mr. Wordsworth, or whoever that dog butler was.
Yeah, and I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it works there. In terms of villains, we were only really introduced to Flintheart Glomgold, played by Keith Ferguson, who I believe... you saw Zootopia, right?
Yeah.
He was the fat cheetah.
Oh, wow. Clawhauser. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, he's clearly got range, because you don't hear it at all when he plays Glomgold.
Not at all, and definitely this Glomgold is probably a lot different from the 90s Glomgold. Mostly this one is trying to kill everybody.
I gotta admit, I kind of like that because of Alex and Gravity Falls, he kind of, like, introduced... Did you know that you could have, like, psychopaths on kids shows and, like, still make it work, even if they're trying to murder people?
Yeah, that does make it a lot more fun, and definitely raises the stakes of everything to a great extent.
Yeah, it's not like the sad days. I grew up in the 80s, man, so, like...
Yeah.
No, none of them were threats. The Shredder was a moron. Skeletor's an idiot. Mumra's a dumbass. Megatron was the closest thing to credible because they had that animated movie where, you know, he murdered Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
So, like, I grew up in the 80s where, like, villains, like... Dude, I grew up on Power Rangers. I mean... Oh, God.
Yeah, they were goofy then. They weren't threats, in a sense.
Like, I like the fact that Disney's has, like, almost come out in a way to say, like, hey, man, you could have a villain that's equally psychopathic and monstrously vulgar and evil and dangerous and still, like, funny and entertaining.
Yeah,
that's Bill Cipher in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it just works for Bill Cipher, and it works for Glumgold as well. And I hope that we see other villains down the line.
Well, you heard what's happening, right?
What's that?
We're gonna have Ma Beagle later, and she's gonna be played by famed character actress Margot Martindale.
She's not even gonna be named Ma Beagle. Everyone's gonna say, "Look, it's character actress Margot Martindale."
It's famed character actress Margot Martindale.
BoJack has ruined her life.
I think BoJack helped, like, give her a resurgence, if anything. Like, whoever, like, probably saw her on that show as, you know, she was just playing herself.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Someone was like, oh, dude, we should get her as Ma Beagle. That'll be pretty cool. And then we're going to have the Beagle Boys, and that's going to be cool. I know that Eric Bauza is going to play all of them. I hope he gives them accents.
Yeah.
Because Eric Bauza is a master of accents.
Yeah, we'll just have to see as future episodes come out. But now, like, we can just sort of gloss over the adventure, because it's basically just sort of like the go to Atlantis sort of thing.
Hell, just go watch the damn adventure.
Yeah, because we're not gonna really ruin that part. That's the whole fun of the episode.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, I will just mention that Huey Dewey is sort of an idiot throughout the second half of this episode.
I like how you had to say it out loud, because you're like, wait, which one was it?
Yeah, I still just have to forget it, because this is just the way I remember it.
What's like the coding? Red,
blue, green. It's always green. It's always like that. Huey, Dewey, Louie. That's the way that I remember it. That's how I remembered it as a kid too.
Yeah. So Dewey's quite the little turd in the second one. He's not even terrible, but it's, like, very clear that he's a bit of a pain in the ass because he wants to be accepted by Scrooge. But that's part of the character growing up thing.
Mm-hmm. It does feel like a little bit artificial in a sense, like he goes so stupid to a sense where just the episode has to also have Donald down below basically saving his ass.
Yeah, because he's just being too moronic. But again, you know, pilots, they're all about giving us a foundation for what we're going to build as we move ahead in this project.
Exactly. And definitely that second half of the pilot really just laid out a lot of stuff. Scrooge McDuck and his hatred of the family and how that's going to grow. Donald Duck as just the single parent, and how
I love by the way how they've written him as like this overly protective like father figure that just wants them to be safe and happy.
That's actually so heartwarming and nice. Like, you usually don't really have those sort of like single father characters.
And let's be there's Dr. Doofenshmirtz is a single father.
Yeah, but they don't really like put like. Oh no, what was I trying to say? But yeah, Disney does do those single fathers, actually. And that's really nice, but you don't really see it anywhere else, in a sense.
Hell, the dad from, Great Mouse Detective, with the little mouse girl.
Yeah.
He was a single father and voiced by Alan Young.
Oh, wow, nice. Single fathers are awesome. And also single mothers are awesome. Equality.
Actually, that's why I like, Phineas and Ferb so much.
Yeah.
Because it's the wife who, like, has to pay Hans alimony. Because he clearly isn't making any money to support his kid. He does, like, the Evil Incorporated.
And she just spends money on doing all sorts of glamorous things.
Yeah. So she, like, spends his alimony. That was so funny. I am looking forward to this. There's a good mystery. The mystery,
It's just, at the very end, it's the last second of the whole episode.
There's a painting in Scrooge's garage where he keeps like all of his frickin' discoveries and treasures. Like, because I guess when you're that rich and you care that little, yeah, that's where you store your stuff.
Yeah, just throw that ancient demonic dragon into the garage. It's safe in there.
Demonic dragon, undead pirate, enchanted sword, some kind of weird headless horse.
That was weird.
But there's a big painting and it's got Scrooge and Donald and they're fighting off pirates. And Dewey pushes back the ripped fold of it, and there's a woman up there also fighting the pirates. And the last thing he says is, "Mom."
Cut to black.
And cut to black. And right away, WHYBOY and I are like,
oh.
Well, wait, they have parents?
Yeah, because this was something that was, like, never talked about in the 90s show. It was just, like, they were Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Uncle Donald, Uncle Scrooge, and that's their family.
Yeah, and that was it. Like, so it's really, like, now we have a fascinating hook. What happened to their mom? Is this why Donald and Scrooge had a fallout?
Yeah, and it's just sort of like exactly what happened with Gravity Falls. Because on every sort of level, I think this is on the same level of how I enjoyed it with Gravity Falls. And a really fun setup. It set up all the basics of the characters and such. But it was those last few seconds of basically just hook in Gravity Falls. It was Stan opening the vending machine to his secret. And here, Mom. Just that. As simple as that to really create a hook.
So where would you go on the rating scale for this?
I would definitely say this is a must-see for basically any sort of animation fan. This was a really well-done pilot, in a sense. It set up everything well. It's got enough material to go to any sort of episodic nature to it. And that hook at the end just basically is just so grabbing that you have to watch it to really see where this mystery goes.
I 100% agree. It is a must-see. It has, first off, the animation stunning, breathtaking. It's so nice that we're getting such good television animation because there's always been such a fear that as television production goes on, you see it get cheaper and get worse because of it and get lazy because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is the pilot, so of course you have to always put your best foot forward. They kept the opening theme song. It's phenomenal. It's so enjoyable to hear and listen to. And then, we have very, very well set up characters that can lead to being very well rounded, and it has a good mystery. Like, what was it that Grunkle Stan said in Gravity Falls? I'll have you know that Duck Detective has a brilliant mystery hook and a lot of comedy that goes over kids' heads.
Oh God, I'm just thinking now they'll probably bring Duck Detective into DuckTales.
I really hope Alex Hirsch can do a role on DuckTales.
He'll be Duck Detective.
I did watch I watched a video that talked about all of his voiceover roles, and he's very for a guy that's not a professional voice actor technically by trade. He's he's a cartoonist. He's got an amazing range as a performer. Gravity Falls alone will attest to that, quite frankly. He plays so many characters on there.
It'll be so cool to see if Alex Hirsch actually does a role on there, because he definitely is sort of like one of the main figures of Disney right now, of Disney TV animation.
So, we highly recommend giving this a shot. You know, it's solid animation, voice acting all around. What we also want to do is that we would like to give you a shot to support us via Patreon, where you can stop on by and you could actually put out a hit on a show or a movie and either have WHYBOY tackle it as a cartoon corner. I'm going to be a bit out of commission because I am looking to get my wisdom teeth extracted, all 4 of them. So doing a NERO's review for you is probably just not going to happen. That's the bottom line on that front.
Just have to wait a month or two. Unfortunately, we apologize for that.
Hey man, it's life, you know. It happens.
It's wisdom teeth.
It's part of the way it goes. Yeah, you can also stop by our TeePublic store. There you can pick up like T-shirts and whatnot, and designs and stickers. That, you know, all that money you spend through Patreon, through that, through TeePublic, you can actually, it gets funneled back into our show. So you're actually helping our show grow. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Feedback is so important to us because it allows us to interact and engage you with the audience. You guys are people. We want to engage you as people. We want you to feel like you're a part of this.
Yep, exactly.
Can't stress that enough.
Oh yeah. Just at the end of the day,
and share
it all over for us
on social media. Yeah, because that's how we're gonna get this channel to grow, guys. We need to get this channel to keep growing bigger and stronger than ever before.
So just down below, tell us what you thought of DuckTales pilot. Did you agree with us, or did you feel that some aspects of it weren't up to what you were expecting of it? Everything just in the comments below, and let's have a discussion on it.
Yeah, guys. And until next time, be sure to tune in.
ToonGrin.
Ciao.
Woohoo!